From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana Siddiqui. Our top story tonight, Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar is slated to win her primary this evening, despite the influence of the Israeli lobby. The Minnesota lawmaker is one of the progressives whose 2018 election created the group known as the Squad. After recent primary losses by fellow Squad members Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman, pro-Israel donors have mobilized substantial resources to challenge Omar. Bowman, Bush, and Omar have all expressed opposition to President Joe Biden's support for Israel in its war against Palestinians. Omar's campaign has been a vigorous defender of her district's diverse community, including addressing concerns about discrimination. Israel has killed at least 32 Palestinians and wounded 88 others in the past 24 hours. Overnight, Israeli warplanes and artillery struck among various locations a residential building in Khan Yunis, resulting in 15 deaths and numerous injuries. The attacks have also hit the Bureish and Deir al-Balah refugee camps, with children among the casualties. Israel has also struck southern Gaza City. Israel has killed at least 39,929 Palestinians and wounded 92,240 over the last 6 months in its war on Gaza. One report by experts published in the British medical journal The Lancet last month estimated the death toll may be as high as 186,000 Palestinians. Israel stands accused of genocide at the International Court of Justice, which ordered Tel Aviv to immediately halt its military operation in the southern city of Rafah. In related news, more than 2,000 Israeli settlers, including 2 Israeli ministers, stormed Al-Aqsa Mosque in East Jerusalem early today. The settlers, waving Israeli flags and performing Talmudic rituals, entered through the Al-Mugharba gate, a common entry point for such incursions. This provocative move, which was endorsed by Israel's far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, who has visited the site multiple times, has drawn sharp criticism. Al-Aqsa Mosque is the third holiest site in Islam. Israel's occupation and annexation of East Jerusalem since 1967 remains unrecognized internationally. Monday's 2-hour interview between Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump and Elon Musk on X saw technical glitches and unsubstantiated claims going unchallenged. Musk let Trump lead the conversation and did not challenge inaccurate statements. These include the false assertion that other countries were sending criminals from their prisons across the southern U.S. border. Trump used the platform to discuss his recent assassination attempt and plans for a massive deportation should he win the presidency. Musk expressed his support for Trump's toughness and proposed joining a future administration to tackle government waste. Observers say the event underscored the ongoing debate over misinformation and platform responsibility. They also noted that the interview highlighted the evolving alliance between Trump and Musk, reflecting broader shifts in their political dynamics. In related news, the European Union has issued a stern warning to Elon Musk, emphasizing his duty to adhere to EU laws governing online content. In a letter from EU Commissioner Thierry Breton, Musk was reminded of his responsibilities as the owner of X, a very large online platform with a significant EU user base. The EU is concerned about potential risks related to content inciting violence and hate, especially during major political events. Former Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has accused the U.S. of orchestrating her removal from power earlier this month. She alleges that it was linked to her refusal to cede control of St. Martin Island, the southernmost part of Bangladesh, to the U.S. According to a recent report, Hasina claimed the U.S. wanted her to relinquish sovereignty over the island to gain influence in the Bay of Bengal to counter China. Despite the offer of a smoother re-election, Hasina's refusal highlighted the island's strategic importance. After her resignation on August 5th amid protests and escalating unrest, Bangladesh has seen significant upheaval. Hasina, who is now in India, left behind a country in political turmoil with over 580 deaths reported in protests. A new transitional government under Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus is now in place. The main opposition, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, has demanded a national election within 3 months to hand over power to the people's representatives. CAIR sues U.S. for discriminating against Palestinian Americans. Details after the break, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. The Council on American Islamic Relations, or CAIR, has filed a lawsuit against U.S. agencies. The Muslim civil rights organization is alleging racial and discriminatory treatment of Palestinian Americans Mustafa Zaidan and Osama Abu Irshaid. Zaidan was allegedly placed on the no-fly list. This prevented him from visiting his sick mother in Jordan. Abu Irshaid, while traveling to Qatar, had his phone seized and was subjected to extensive questioning by federal agents. The lawsuit, which was filed in the Eastern District of Virginia, claims these actions infringe on constitutional rights. CAIR says they also highlight a broader rise in Islamophobia and anti-Palestinian bias in the U.S., especially amidst Israel's ongoing war on Gaza. The FBI claims that its watch lists are not based on race or religious beliefs. A large anti-racism and anti-fascism protest was held in Scotland's capital, Edinburgh. It was led by the group Stand Up to Racism. Hundreds of demonstrators gathered in front of the Scottish Parliament to voice their opposition to racism and far-right extremism. The protesters chanted slogans condemning the recent surge in racially motivated attacks in England, showing solidarity against hate and division. The UK has been rocked by turmoil for days, with violent far-right rioters spewing racist and Islamophobic vitriol targeting Muslims, minority groups, and migrants. The UN has declared Sudan at a cataclysmic breaking point amid escalating humanitarian disaster. The International Organization for Migration, or IOM, warned that the 16-month conflict, compounded by famine and flooding, has led to the world's largest displacement crisis. Nearly 97% of internally displaced persons face severe food insecurity, and over 10.7 million people are seeking safety within Sudan. Recent violence in Sennar state has displaced 700,000, while flooding has affected 20,000 across 11 states. The IOM calls for an urgent global response to prevent further loss of life, emphasizing that without immediate action, tens of thousands could face preventable deaths. The conflict involving the Sudanese army and paramilitary forces has already claimed over 12,000 lives and left 33,000 injured since April 2023. Approximately 6.8 million Sudanese have fled their homes. A 32-year-old man was arrested in the UK after allegedly stabbing an 11-year-old girl, leaving her with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police confirmed that the incident took place in London's busy Leicester Square. A 29-year-old security guard named Abdullah intervened, tackling the attacker and disarming him before police arrived. Witnesses praised Abdullah's bravery as he and others held the suspect until authorities took over. British Muslims have been under attack for the last 2 weeks, with far-right extremists and racists attacking at least 10 mosques, as well as people of color in their cars and on the streets. The violent racists have also burned down a police station, attacked a hotel for asylum seekers, and vandalized and looted businesses run by immigrants. Nearly 600 people have been arrested and over 140 charged. The violence, which has been described as among the worst in the country in the last 50 years, came in the wake of a stabbing attack committed by a British-born Christian teenager. Racist groups falsely attributed the crime to a Muslim asylum seeker, sparking the violence. Tell Mama UK, a group that monitors anti-Muslim incidents, said that since the riots began, it had received more than 500 calls and online reports of anti-Muslim behavior across the UK. Counter-protests to the far-right rallies have also sprung up across the country, with thousands joining in to reject the attack on immigrants and Muslims. The Home Office has also said mosques will be offered new emergency security. Women of color in the UK are turning to self-defense for protection. This is in the wake of anti-Muslim hate incidents skyrocketing 335% in the UK since October 2023. Martial arts expert Maya Hassan has launched classes in London to help women navigate the racist violence, attracting mostly Muslim women from diverse backgrounds. Her sessions aim to boost confidence and security. Self-defense instructor Stuart McGill has reported a significant increase in women seeking his classes. Shaista Aziz, director of campaign group The Three Hijabis, says many women fear that the violence could escalate further, prompting them to stay close to home. Prominent UK think tank Royal United Services Institute, or RUSI, has accused the government of adopting a two-tier approach to handling extremism. It has highlighted a disparity in how far-right and extremist violence by Muslims are treated. A RUSI report says a double standard has been exposed by this summer's riots, which has allowed far-right activity to flourish. It reveals far-right violence is often dismissed as thuggery by politicians and security services, unlike Muslim extremist attacks, which are swiftly categorized as terrorism. Recent riots in England and Northern Ireland, fueled by neo-Nazi groups, underscore this issue. Russi argues this bias undermines the severity of far-right threats. The group is calling for a re-evaluation of how these violent acts are classified and responded to. The think tank has criticized the government and media for also perpetuating this double standard. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. Your support is needed more than ever to continue our mission of providing informative, educational, and inspiring content to Muslims in North America and around the world. Donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Salam and good night.